This is my dad, born in 34, passed away this year on January 29th, 2022. These are his family, starting on the left. This would be the Siefkers in Germany. Frank is on the right, the curly hair. His brother Ernest is on the other side of the chair, and that is, I think, my dad's dad. This would have been prior to 1907 when they came to America. In the middle picture is Charles Morris Chambers. He is the son of Samuel Chambers, who came down the Ohio with 30 barrels of whiskey, hit a snag on the Missouri River, headed toward Montana to give whiskey to, or sell whiskey to gold miners in Montana. His dad bought land, 3,000 acres of prairie. Charles Morris turned that into farmland. He had 3 children. One of them, right here on the left, is Josephine Chambers, who would be my dad's grandma. Josephine had a baby, a daughter, many daughters, 7, I believe. Gladys was the oldest. That would be my dad's mom. Frank Siefker was a German immigrant. Came over in 1907. Passed through Ellis Island, talked about seeing Statue of Liberty for the first time. Went to work for Westinghouse. Worked on a team to develop the first rotating fan. Went to Iowa to put electricity into rural areas, and ended up in Ashton, Iowa, as well as Mapleton, where these two met. This would be my grandmother. And this would be my grandpa. This would be my dad's mom and dad. This is when he was born in 34. Some fuzzy pictures of them. I believe this one on the right, his dad was helping to build the swimming pool in town in Mapleton. That's still there. Took quite a few pictures of baby Doug. Already here, he's starting to play with his hands and build stuff. Here he is when Kent came along a year later. This is the tricycle that went off a retaining wall, I believe, and my dad cracked his head open. You can see they grew up without much, but they made a lot of what they had, did a lot of building. By the age of 11, he was already drawing things like this with ohms and watts and resistors and things like that on it. Here's his dad's electrical plant. And here's why the bridge broke during a flood. My dad's report card, and there he is in his class at Maple Valley. This is 1948 when his dad died. Frank died, and my dad was 14, and he was left lots of tools, and he's used those to build a car out of a Willys Jeep. This is Kent and him through the years. This had been graduation, 1952. Getting dressed up for the graduation. After graduation, my dad went on a road trip to California, possibly with these guys. This was his favorite car of all time. He cut it in half, took 4 inches out of all the body around, and then welded it back together and made it look like it was brand new, and just did all that just because he thought it would look cool, which it does. This is about the time my dad starts to meet my mom. My favorite pictures of them at my mom's farm. And they're married in 1960. They were married 62 years. And they got this brand new Falcon in 1960, I believe. And they went on a honeymoon, I believe, to California to see his mom. She lived with us for a while. My dad with Aunt Clara. Baby David comes around. Family comes to visit Sioux City. And these are just pictures of them. My dad built the cabinets in the kitchen. He's goofing around with them. It's a visit from my mom's side. This sled is the same sled my dad hit a tree, wiped him out. All the in-laws on the fixed side. This truck was my dad's grandpa's truck, Charles Pierce. My dad restored it into the blue truck you see there. This is the beginning on another Model A thing. You can see the Model A developing into that. Falcon ended up in the hands of Kevin and Michelle. And just some random pictures of Christmas through the years. Work on the brown Model A. My dad also helped restore the Hawkeye truck that is now in the Sioux City Museum. It was a truck that was made here in Sioux City, Iowa. And as far as I know, it's one of the few that's restored, fully restored. They bought a Model A so that the family could go on trips in one car. Went to see Denny in Comstock, Nebraska, where they went to a steam engine show. You can see these things took lots of work. If you look at the rust down here, this stuff was a lot of work to get to look new again. Traveling trophy for some of the things that he had made. He also took time to help us with some of our schoolwork. And there's a potato race. That thing was supposed to be made by me. It was really not. But we did well. This is the house as it stood before we started the big project. And this is the first day where Scott goes up and climbs and brings down the trees. And those trees were actually used in the making of the house. We built an addition, kind of moved into the addition, and then tore the house down, heading south. This is where Scott and David learned lots of skills. At times there were gaps between the new and the old. Some days were funner than others. Here's the day the McGuires came and the porch came down. John Ellickson helped my dad a lot on the project. This is one of those dirty days when things were brought down. Here's things going up. They found time to stay busy with the car club and church, visit family, do goofy things like dress up as chickens, Lowell, saw Grandma Fick. David got married in 80, took trips in 82 to Colorado, did more fun things, singing a bicycle built for two. Here's some of the anniversaries they've had. We didn't have a picture of the 60th because of COVID. You can see they had fun with their friends. They met going to a dance lesson as their first date. Here's the king in front of his kingdom here. Our dog Ginger, taking the grandkids up Pikes Peak, taking Brian out to Black Hills. This is our family about 1988. He retired in 95. Been 61 years old, I believe. And did some traveling. Climbed Mount Harney. Here's the Falcon. Here's his 80th birthday. We did some trips together. Here he is supporting us. He loved to travel and loved to talk. Loved to talk family history. Talk about prairie. Do family unions intentionally. Here he is with my mom's side. Here's him throwing an addle, looking at maps, doing family fun things like an airplane contest, just hanging out with friends, reading books, walking in the woods. Here's his master, the king of all tools, the lathe that he could make tools on. I guess he made a micrometer once. He can measure to the thousandths of an inch. Love talking prairie. This is his nieces and nephews, and here's the Finn where we'd go barefoot. Here he is watching me give a speech. Here, looking at family pictures and playing player piano and traveling with friends and anything related to the Model A or fixing old cars. Here's some of his work. And here we are throughout the years. This is one of our last pictures together. His last ride in the Model A. And his last birthday. Hanging out on Sundays. And some of his favorites. The Model A on the Lincoln Highway, epicenter for him. And the prairie. And there he is, riding off in the sunset.